Hey everybody, so here we have this Samsung laptop in for service. This is definitely an older machine, definitely seen its better days. Just wait till you see how the screen looks on this thing. So the reason why it's in is for performance improvements. They're trying to get a little bit of extra life out of this thing. It's really slow because, for one thing, it does not have a solid state drive. We'll be putting a solid state drive in this thing. That's one reason why it's here. But the other reason is we're going to try to look at this display, because the thing is, the display, there's like two different versions of displays for this machine. One is like $50 and the other is like $150, if not more, and for that price it's definitely not worth investing it in this machine. So let's go ahead and start this up. They probably have a login password or something like that. Of course, I can't really show what's on it for privacy, but the battery actually still works a little bit. Don't know how well, but can't really see it right now, but you might be able to see in the corners here. The screen definitely does have some problems. There you go. So the screen is definitely not in the best of condition. So, like for example, it's, yeah, I don't know if it's from pressure over time or what, but the panel is definitely damaged. It's still readable, so I mean, I think they're going to still be okay with the screen as it is, but I told them that I could definitely look into possibly swapping out this screen. So the main focus of this machine is, of course, that solid state drive, and that's what we'll be covering in this video. So two things: it's going to be getting the solid state drive, also it's going to be getting a clean installation of Windows. So they definitely have a sign-in password, so we're going to have to get rid of that to get in. That way I can back up their files. Now, of course, the alternative would be to pull the drive and hook it up to the Plexi, but anyway. Okay, so we're in the BIOS app utility, and here you can really see just how bad this screen is. I mean, it's pretty bad. But we have 4 gigs of RAM, got an AMD A6 3410 MX APU, 1.6 gigahertz, and we do have a hard drive, 500 gigabyte Seagate. We'll be swapping that out for a 512 gigabyte SSD. But I did want to show those specs real quick, and that way you could also see just how bad the screen is. I mean, it's really bad. This thing, in my opinion, is borderline, like, not even worth fixing. But they did want us to try to get every last bit out of it, and I was like, okay, we'll see what we can do for you. I tell you what, guys and girls, it just gets better and better. So apparently this thing, for some odd reason, does not detect USB devices as a boot device. And I should note that we are not in UEFI boot mode. Yes, this thing does support UEFI. It's new enough for that. But literally, it's, for example, I mean, you have the SATA hard drive as well as the SATA DVD drive, and that's literally all this thing sees for boot devices. So for example, legacy USB support is turned on. We go to boot device priority. You can see how the DVD drive as well as the hard drive are listed, but everything else is NA. And when this thing goes to start, so for example, I'm not going to save any changes here, I'm just going to just exit. This thing has a hidden boot menu. When the screen pops up, you press escape one time, and here are your list of boot devices. So this is my USB installer that I have Windows 10 loaded on, and this is a USB that has a bootable Windows PE install on it, which is like the Windows installer that's you normally boot off of. And like when I insert the flash drive, like the computer doesn't even, it's like it doesn't recognize it. Now we know that there's voltage going to the port because the SanDisk USB flash drive has a little light in that illuminates when it is getting power. So I don't know what the deal is with this thing. It's just things possessed. I'm about ready to call it the Samsung laptop from hell, because this thing is just it's just ridiculous. I mean, I'm just trying everything I can think of. Like, for example, I'll just for the heck of it, I think I just might turn UEFI support on. Just to see what it does. UEFI boot support enable. Just enable it. Let's see what happens. Same thing. I'm telling you, it's possessed. Okay, so I've got the customer's files backed up, and I also took some time to clean this thing. This thing was just nasty. Come on, people. I don't understand it. Why can't you clean your computers? Some of the laptops I have gotten are just, some of them are so freaking disgusting. But anyways, we got it cleaned up better, and still got the freaking new wrap on the back of the lid. But anyway, let's go ahead and swap out the solid state drive on this. So first thing we'll do is remove the battery. Thing still has the original battery pack. I'm gonna do assume. At least it does have a removable pack. You know, a lot of these newer laptops have the internal LiPo packs, which I'm not a fan of. But to get to our SSD or get to our hard drive to change out for a solid state drive, we got to take this bottom off here. So it looks like we take this door off in a memory, and then there are additional screws hidden under the feet that we have to remove to get that cover off. So basically Samsung pulled an HP on the design of this machine by hiding screws under the feet, but at least they were nice enough to put little arrows indicating that there are screws hidden under the feet. HP, sometimes a different story. You know, I wonder, a little bit of stickiness on here. I wonder if this thing's had a drink spill before. I'm going to probably assume it has not been recent. So we could actually add RAM to this if we really wanted to. It's got 4 gigabytes of RAM in it. It's DDR3. We could increase that to 8 gigabytes and probably get a pretty considerable performance boost. Alright, so get this other rubber foot off of here. Alright, let's take these screws out here. Okay, so we'll carefully pop this cover off here. I mean, there are some things I don't like about this machine, but then again, there are some things about it that I'm actually kind of liking. I don't work on Samsung laptops all that much. I have a question if this thing's had a drink spill. An awful lot of stickiness in here. I mean, if this dang thing has survived a drink spill, that's pretty dang that's pretty dang good. Okay, so I got the bottom off, and sorry I didn't really get good video footage of it, but it's kind of a process getting it off. I think the way it's normally supposed to pop off is supposed to slide, but this thing, I I think it's had a drink spill or something because there's a lot of sticky residue in here, and it's like, yeah, it's acting like glue. So while we're in here, we're going to try to clean that up. Thankfully, the motherboard, from what I can see, looks okay. The RAM module looks fine. But, I mean, there's a lot of stickiness in here. And while we're in here, we're going to clean that up for sure. But once you get that bottom cover off, you get access to the hard drive, which is what we're after. My hands are sticky now. Yeah, we need to clean that up. Look at that. That's just nasty. Some people just don't take very good care of their computers. In a way, I'm amazed this thing still works. At all. I mean, it's just in everything. But the IPA is doing a good job getting a lot of it out, so that's what we're looking for. Alright, we'll clean this base off. That way, hopefully, we can install it back the way it was intended to go in. Or at least try anyway. Okay, now let's go ahead and change out this hard drive for that solid state drive. So there's 4 screws it looks like we have here. And I guess in a moment we'll see if the drink spill or whatever's in here got to the motherboard. And there's a little cable here we gotta detach. And that just lifts right out. Okay, there's no stickiness down in here, thankfully. So there's our hard drive. 500 gig Seagate. Amazed it still works. Because Seagate does not have a good reputation with me. I've had so many of their drives fail. Funny thing is, Seagate acquired Samsung's hard drive division years back, so it's not surprising to see a Seagate drive in a Samsung branded laptop. Alright, pull this off here. Alright, so we'll install our new SSD. I went with the Patriot P210 for this one. I kind of do change around brands once in a while when I buy these things. Sometimes I'll do it to save the customer a few extra bucks, particularly if it's an older machine. Okay, we'll reattach the connection here. And we'll reinsert this into the laptop. Okay, now it's going to pop the cover back on. Still a little bit of stickiness on there, but nothing like it was before. So that screw didn't need to come out, by the way. Just FYI. So this thing was missing a foot already, but anyway, I'm going to pop the battery back in, and we are ready to do a clean install Windows 10 on this thing. Okay, so I did figure out the trick with this thing for booting off a flash drive. But since we don't have an OS on here, let's see what happens when there's nothing on the hard disk or solid state drive. Okay, so it did pick it up automatically. And I should note that I did enable UEFI in the BIOS, so that way now when we install Windows 10, it will install as a UEFI GPT. Now I should note that we'll look at the screen later. I might do that in a different video if I do a video of that at all. Chances are they're probably going to get it back with the existing screen, because I mean this is an older machine, and with the cost of the replacement screen, it just may not really be worth fixing, considering what they're already spending on the SSD and the service for the SSD. So generally I do combine services when I do multiple services on a laptop or desktop, for example. But I probably will pull this bezel off and get the model number off the screen. That way I can look up the part number and also look at my existing inventory of screens just to see what I have. Now, I think I ran into this one time before with this machine. They brought it into the lab, and the screen was obviously like this, and I think these particular laptops, they are like very restrictive about screens, and our trackpad is not working, so I have to use a mouse. But anyways, I'll get Windows 10 installed on this thing and we'll go from there. Okay everybody, so I have now finished installing Windows 10 back on this machine, as well as some additional software. I have not restored the owner's files as of yet. That's when we're going to take the opportunity to show y'all how this performs now. So that actually was not a startup, it was actually coming back out of a sleep. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and do a restart. This will show the performance of a true startup. And yes, that screen is pretty rough looking. So overall, not terribly bad for a machine of this age, given the specs of the system. So the specs were, of course, that AMD A-series APU, along with the 4 gigabytes of memory, and of course Windows 10, putting the search bar back on the taskbar after I had already hidden it. That's Microsoft for you. So we'll go ahead and do a shutdown and show the startup speed of this system using the fast startup. So again, not too bad for a machine of this age. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. I'm going to go ahead and restore the owner's files, and I may do a separate video of me looking at this screen. What I'll do is I'll be taking this off of the lid, that way I can get to the screen, get any part numbers, and see if anything I have will work in this thing, because that screen is pretty bad. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video from Q channel. If this is your first time, please subscribe to the channel and tick the bell so you get notified of a new video I post. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, leave a comment, and share this video as well as the channel with your friends to get the word out. In addition, I have a second YouTube channel, that's CubeCompMTDX. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for your support.